Hello, this is the TradeTide U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Thursday, August 15th and Friday, August 16th, 2019. Hope you had a good trading day on Wednesday. We certainly did. It was exciting. We had a lot of winners on the stock side. Good to see it finally. Big day down, even though we gapped down first, which is not usually ideal, but you just could tell it was going to be an ugly day going in once we gapped down after the day before being an up day. And here's the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market and futures forum, so we can look at the 13 sell signal back about a month ago, just over a month ago, and then the use of that risk line, and then the drop that didn't quite take us back to the red static trend line. So the signal's not played out yet, by the way. Then a little bounce, then we were flat for a couple days. Looked like we were starting to roll on Monday, bounced back pretty hard on Tuesday. Now we've dropped even worse on Wednesday, and that's got a lot of people trapped. And that's the thing you got to worry about with the markets is where do the buyers get trapped, and this doesn't look good from that perspective. But obviously, the real ugliness would be if we crack the lows of June, the lows of March. They're about the same number down in that 2720 area. If we break that, we're in trouble, and we're still 220 points above that. Let's take a look at the daily charts of the majors, then we'll look at the intraday action, talk about what's left this week in terms of economic data. So crude oil down 35 cents to 54.88. Just a blip. Gold up $3.80. The one thing we haven't seen a lot of this year, obviously, is the hurricanes so far. That doesn't mean they won't come. I would expect them at some point in August or September, and that's kept oil prices down. So gold 1531.80 up to new highs, new closing highs. 85.72 is the number of points lost on the S&P cash index. About half of that was a gap, so just keep that in mind. Nasdaq 100, same story, down 238. About half of it was a gap. The SOX down 47.12. Biotech's down 81.20. Russell 2000 loses 43 and change. That's ugly. That's getting near the lows of May, which will crack most of the year at that point. The VIX gains $4.58. Remember, we had that 13 buy signal on the VIX. Look at that back in the third week of July. We curled up from there. It's just been a straight shot up. And we know as the VIX rises, the markets drop. So that signal rises right on the money, too. The trend, 3.79. Are you kidding me? That's such a high reading. It just looks horrible when it puts the 10-day moving average at 1.55, which, usually says certain things, but, you're, as Rich said today, you can be oversold and then you can still be oversold. And I don't know that we're really oversold yet, but the readings don't look great, but we'll just see what happens. In terms of the volume, 2.5 billion shares on the NASDAQ. Obviously, that's decent. Again, the down day has the volume. Advance decline ratio pretty much where it started the day and ended the day around here. Negative 2,037 on the NASDAQ, negative 1935 on the New York. So it's just pretty steady. It never really recovered. It's obviously a very negative number, but it didn't get worse either. Google down 32 and change. Apple down 622, giving away most of the gains from the prior day. Remember, there's still a 13 signal in place there to the downside. Netflix down 13.17 and coming near lows. That does not look good. Amazon down 61.38. Good day today. We made a lot of money on the Amazon trade. Tesla down 15.38. Facebook down 8.74. Goldman Sachs loses 8.55. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, up again, $3.21. These rates just go and go and go. Dow Jones was down 800 points. Look at the 13 sell signal, by the way, on the Dow. That's right on the money so far. But the thing is, that one's technically played out because we did get a 9-bar move to the downside, whereas we didn't on the S&P. So just keep that in mind. In terms of intraday action, so again, Tuesday we had the basically fairly flat opening and then just surged higher, big money made. Then that was like 40 minutes of trading and then just dead flat and nothing else happened. And then on Wednesday we gapped down basically to where Tuesday opened, wrote the whole day off, so everybody that bought on Tuesday was underwater and just continued to sell off, and that's that. NASDAQ side, basically the same story. So it's ugly out there. We still have the sell signal in place on the broad market, but it could really be a lot worse than that right now, so just keep that in mind. There's not a lot of incentive to stay long. There might be days or moments where you can get long as a trader, but staying long is a whole different story. In terms of economic data coming out for the rest of the week here on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, so an hour before the bell. Retail sales, Philly Fed, Empire State Manufacturing Index, non-farm productivity, preliminary labor costs, the initial and continuing jobless claims numbers. At 9:15, so 15 minutes before the bell, capacity utilization and industrial production. 30 minutes into the market, business inventories and the NAHB housing market index, an hour in natty gas, and then at the close tick long-term purchases on Friday. An hour before the bell, we still have housing starts and building permits, and then preliminary University of Michigan sentiment 30 minutes in. That will wrap up the week. And of course, on top of it, this is options expiration week, right? So if you got an unraveling move, it certainly looked like it on Wednesday, right? After that first hour, we picked up speed and kept going, and the volume stayed hard. So that's what we look for an options unravel. Now, what does that leave us with 2 days left till expiration in the summer month of August? We shall see. There's something else really important I'd like to point out on the charts to you, but I'm going to wait until the weekend report. Keep you. It's not so important that you need it for Thursday or Friday, but you might after that. Charts as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Thursday and Friday.